For we have not followed cunningly devised fables when we made known unto you the power and coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, but were eyewitnesses of his majesty. For he received from God the Father honor and glory, when there came such a voice to him from the excellent glory, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. And this voice which came from heaven we heard, when we were with him in the holy mount. So this is an account from the life of Jesus that we get from Peter himself in his own writings. Now there are 4 accounts of this transfiguration of Jesus on the mountain where he is seen communing with Moses and Elijah. 3 of his disciples watched this happen, and it's recorded in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and then in this second epistle of Peter. I love it when we get some account from the life of Jesus in the epistles. There's not a whole lot of that, but here is this wonderful instance of that where Peter, one of the only 3 who bore witness of this very special event, he writes about it, as this is part of his testimony that he carries with him all through his life as he tells the story of Jesus, and he lives by it and he dies for it, and he imparts that sobriety and the importance of carrying this gospel and teaching it correctly. Now when that event happened, the 3 disciples who watched it happen, Peter and James and John, they could not tell anyone about it. Jesus told them they couldn't tell anyone about it until after Jesus had ascended. So even Peter's own brother, Andrew, who was one of the 12 and shared so many experiences with Peter, even Andrew could not know about this until after the ascension of Jesus. But when it was time to tell the story, there were these 3 witnesses who all had the same story. James and John, who were brothers, the sons of Zebedee, and Peter. And by those 3 witnesses, this story was confirmed. Now, what I love about that story of Jesus on the mountain of transfiguration is that his disciples get to see something of Jesus that had, for the most part, been kept secret. Jesus often went off alone into the mountains to pray, where no one could see him, not even his disciples. And I like to think that he was often doing things like this. He was communing with the Father and communing with angels and saints from the past. We know that when Jesus was in the wilderness for 40 days, tempted by Satan, he was out there completely alone with no human witnesses, battling the devil himself and being ministered to by angels. So Jesus had this very important side of his life that he lived out in private, away from the eyes of his friends, of his disciples. But on this one occasion, he brought some of them into that part of his life, and he let them see it so that they could have their faith strengthened and then carry that story and make it part of the gospel that would be preached in all the world. That good news about Jesus, the anointed one of God who was sent by God to rule over the world. And it sticks with Peter for the rest of his life. He writes about it here in his epistle. He lived by his testimony and he died by his testimony. Well, that's my little Bible reading for today. Please be sure to leave a comment below. Click the like button if you like what I'm doing, and I'll talk to you again later. Bye for now.